back for a big one.
This is the
Today.
big one. Let's be
It's
clear.
not the biggest. It is a gigantic one.
We're here to talk about one thing and one thing only.
One thing only, and let's focus on that. Let's do
Let's
this.
do it.
Take a huge chug of it because I'm like hungry.
Just finish it. Finish it. Ooh.
It's great. It's easy. It's scary when alcohol is easy to drink.
Yeah.
You ever had a Long Island iced tea? Good
Oh,
God.
yeah.
Had a
Just
couple
like
of those. I woke up on a boat in Mexico.
That's the way to do it
Jesus.
with my socks off. I don't know why that's important,
But they were.
but
gone.
it is. All right,
Oh,
let's
man.
do this.
Let's just jump right. I'm sick of waiting. I'm sick of waiting. Sick of the suspense.
Man,
There's a serious issue we need to get to before we even talk about the movie.
Oh my
But
God.
Whenever you're ready to start.
I'm ready to go. What's the issue?
It's not even about the film we're about to talk about, but it needs to be talked about. Let's
Okay.
talk about movie theater etiquette.
Oh my God, dude! I swear.
Let's talk about how to act like an adult human person at the movies. First, let me talk about one thing first.
Okay.
So I'm walking into the theater, and this happens all the time, but last night it really irked me.
All right.
The people that come out of the movie like, oh my God, I can't believe Channing Tatum showed up.
Oh yeah.
You're a fucking loser. There
I
was a
know.
guy in his pajamas there, and he was more cool than you were
Yeah,
for
I know
doing
what you
that.
mean.
It's so annoying.
Yeah, when people are like,
Oh
"Oh
my
God,
gosh, I can't believe the
Yeah, Batman was
showed
in a,
up.
Yeah,
What?
Batman was in a Marvel movie, and you're like,
Listen, you're a loser.
yeah. If that's what, if
If that's humor to you,
you went to the theater just to do that,
correct, yeah.
That's why you went.
And I'm telling you, there's people there in full-on Spider-Man suits.
Oh yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
They were more cool than
the
you were.
whole getup. Absolutely.
Just saying. So
Yeah.
So there's that.
Because you know that guy was in the movie and he was like, I'm totally going to do the thing. I'm going to do the thing.
100%.
Yeah. That's what he
And that's all he's like, I can't
Yes,
wait
gets
for this movie
so
to be over.
psyched. Yeah.
So yeah, you're a loser
All right.
if you do
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Bringing Thanksgiving dinner to the theater.
Dude, I'm not even joking. That guy was like, how was the movie? And I was like, look, let me tell you about these people sitting next to me.
The whole family.
And I couldn't, I was like, I will tell you about the movie, but let me tell you about this family that brought food. Not
They brought
like,
a meal.
yeah, a meal.
A 4-course.
It was their
meal.
dinner.
Yeah.
Next to me.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, okay, so they're eating their food, and I'm like, fine, whatever. I can smell it. It's not
Whatever,
like,
it's the movie theater.
yeah, it's not awful. And then I was like, then this 4-year-old child came out of nowhere. Why is your 4-year-old child here? Why?
Listen. Here's the thing about it. Love kids. Big fan of kids.
Absolutely.
Big fan of kids in a superhero movie.
Yeah, I
Kid-
have a few.
But the
children.
kid didn't even want to be there because he kept asking, "Can we please go home, Mom?
Within 10 minutes of the
Can
movie.
we please go home?" And he kept shouting it.
I know. Like, these are all the things. Yes, absolutely. I could not agree with you more. It wasn't
Whoa.
like, Mom, can we go home? It was like, I want to go home.
Yeah.
I want to go home.
I don't like it here. And I love the kids that are like, "Oh, awesome, Spider-Man! That's
Yeah,
so cool, Mom."
For sure.
I love this kid. He's so excited.
For sure. Yeah.
But this kid just flat out didn't want to be there.
Yeah, at all.
And the thing about it is, there's other people to consider.
Yes, absolutely.
Like it's and most people are like, he's just a kid. I understand. I understand
get it.
that.
I get it.
understand him moving and wiggling in the seat, kind of bump, like whatever.
Yeah,
That's so
yeah,
annoying.
yeah.
I get that. But the kid was like being loud
Right.
during the movie,
Yeah, absolutely.
and everybody in the theater could hear him.
Yeah,
And that's what bothers me. It's like it's inconsiderate to other people.
because it's pulling you out, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I want to go home.
When you're like,
What is happening? So then I'm like, wait, what? Oh, damn it.
I laughed because at one point Tyrone's like, "Is this kid for real?" And I'm like, "Dude, probably, yeah.
I'm
he's still
sure.
here.
I'm
We're
sure.
an hour in and he's complaining. So yeah, it's probably for real."
And then, I don't know if you heard, but like halfway through the movie, there's a baby in the
There's
movie
a
theater.
baby way at the bottom.
Yeah.
Like a full,
Like
like
a baby.
couldn't talk yet baby.
And I'm like,
"What?"
seriously?
Yeah.
And again, I get it. Some people are like, I have
It's packed. I don't have a babysitter.
yeah, like I want to see this movie. I want to be here. I want to be here on opening night, and it's like I get it. I understand. Like it's tough, but man, a 7:30 showing that doesn't start until 8.
Prime time.
Yeah,
2.5 over 2.5 hour movie.
I mean, we weren't out of there till 10:45.
Yeah,
and it like that's even again for the kid next to
so
me.
now you're being inconsiderate to the child because
right.
the child doesn't want to be
and that's
there.
my thing, right?
The child
I'm
doesn't
like,
want to be there. Guess what? The child really did want to go home.
yeah, absolutely.
Really did
because
wanna
when the
go home.
movie started, it was his bedtime.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I'm like, you know what? Like this was I understand you wanting to get out and do a thing, but this was the wrong time.
Yeah.
For your baby and for this child. Like you should not be here at a 7:30 movie that starts at 8 that ends at almost 11.
Have you heard of this show? What would you do?
No.
So it's a show.
Oh
it's
yeah,
like a hidden camera show, and
yeah,
so
and they like see if
they're
how
like
people
in line at
react.
the grocery store, like you guys are fucking slow. Hurry up! And it's like, how would you react in that situation?
Yeah,
I'm
they
like,
wanna
are we on
see-
this? Like, they're gonna come out right now, and it's like, hey, I saw you were getting pretty aggravated there with that baby. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna be on this show right now.
That baby is actually
Yeah. So why would
Dak
you? Why would
Shepard.
you react? Yeah. Like what?
what?
So I'm like,
yeah.
that. Yeah. Just be a little more.
Just think about it. Just think about
Granted, that was the first time I was in a full theater in
like
forever. So
2 years,
I go to the movies midweek at 1:00 in the afternoon.
it.
Is when I'm
Nobody's
going. Nobody's there.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't done
So
this
that's
in a
when
long
I'm
time.
going, or I go at like the last showing of the night to be that jerk.
It's
like,
also a really popular theater. Like we went to
Yeah,
like
yeah,
to like a hot spot, and that's again
probably
I'm
the most
like-
popular theater in town. by
Yeah,
far.
yeah. And I'm like, well, okay. Again, I can't blame them, or I don't judge them, I guess, for doing it, but I
It's
just,
just a bummer.
yeah, it was just a
happens.
bummer that it was constantly pulling me out of the movie.
Yeah. Well, that was a quick thing on that.
All right. Having said that, the movie,
We went to see Spider-Man: No Way Home on opening night.
and I could not have been happier that we were there.
Opening night. It's
Could not have
it's
been
a
happier.
whole different experience to be there with the crowd, with the people that truly love it. It's an exciting, an experience I think everybody should have.
So, sorry, one more one more thing about
And
the
then the
people-
guy on the other
Let me
side.
tell you about the other thing the couple did, because you're right. Opening night is for
It's like a
the
sacred thing.
yeah,
It's like a sacred thing.
like the people in that theater are supposed to be the people that don't want to be anywhere else except in that theater.
Yeah.
And when something happens on the screen and everybody's mind is blown, you clap, you cheer, you do something.
Yeah.
And the family next to me was just like, huh? What?
Oh.
So I'm like,
yeah.
you don't even know what's going on. Why are you here? That's the last thing I'm going to say about
That's
it.
true.
But I was like, no wonder you brought Thanksgiving
Yeah,
dinner
yeah.
and your kid.
You pulled out our whole
and-
meal prep thing for
Yeah.
the week. I'm like, what are you
Yeah,
doing?
What is happening?
And don't get me wrong, I worked at a movie theater. I've seen
Yeah.
pizza boxes,
yeah.
and cakes,
Yeah.
and ice
Yeah,
cream tubs.
Absolutely.
But like, that was a lot of food.
Yeah. And
That was a ton of
again, I
food.
was like, it was shocking and impressive that they actually went through with it.
Yeah.
But then I got the sense throughout the movie that I was like, oh, I feel like this is like a
date night for them.
yeah, like this is like a thing they're doing. It's like they don't actually know
Which is
what
funny.
the
'cause
big
I'm like,
deal
How did
is.
you even get seats?
I agree.
I was
I agree.
in line for 4 hours trying to do this.
Yeah, it was like
And
someone
you had better seats than I did. You were
Yeah.
in the center of the row.
like
How'd
how
that
did you pull that off?
Yeah.
And I
Losers.
swear that toward the end of the movie, that guy was asleep. He was snoring for sure.
Whoa.
For sure. Okay, I don't want to say any more
Yeah,
about it.
no,
I don't
that's
want to say any more
That's
about it.
Just be considerate to
Just-
other people.
Yeah.
Movie theaters,
Just know that
restaurants.
Opening
anywhere.
night is for the fans.
Yes.
It's not for people to just go and be out.
100%.
So I love the clapping. I love the cheering.
Yeah,
I
'cause
love,
we haven't had that in
I
a
love that
while.
energy
Energy was
when
big time.
something's going on. I
Yeah.
love it.
Which we haven't had for a while. We also, again, haven't talked. We don't talk about movies before.
No,
which is
no,
totally
no,
fine.
no,
That's why
we
we have
don't.
this show. So I don't know what you're thinking. I know a little bit.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
like a sentence really.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I think I sent you sort of my, like, not really about the movie, but sort of like what the movie represents.
See, and I thought of that a long time ago.
What the movie represents?
Yeah, the thing you sent me. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you.
This was a.
Do you agree?
huge-
You didn't really
oh,
say. You didn't. Yeah,
1000%.
you didn't really
Yeah,
say it.
'cause
Yeah.
I didn't. When we can get into it, but yeah, that was a big
Well,
concern
I,
for me. But
well, I
mean,
kind of want to break down the movie because a lot happens in this movie. Like, there's
from the jump,
yeah,
before
right off
we
the
even
bat.
see anything, you're hearing stuff.
Yeah, we're hearing the end of No Way. I mean, of Far From
Yeah,
Home.
Far From Home.
We're hearing the end of Far From Home, and it picks up right where Far From Home leaves off, which I love. It's one of my favorite things that happens. And we are in it right off the bat, right? People think Spider-Man's a murderer, and nobody believes Peter Parker when he says otherwise.
Yeah.
And now he has to figure out how he's going to solve this problem.
Or I mean, how to live life.
Yeah,
He's
or
like, I gotta
continue on.
I gotta live
right?
like this.
So, and we saw it. We saw it in the trailer that he goes to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange tries to perform a spell, and he messes it up because he keeps changing it midway. And Doctor Strange has to essentially abandon the spell, goes to contain it, but it's too late. There's
Things happen.
villains from other universes. I think we knew about everybody. Yes, all the villains.
Yes.
We
Yeah,
knew all the villains.
Nobody was a surprise.
And
Full spoiler review, by the way.
yeah,
Didn't
I
say that
mean,
at the beginning.
so
Like,
spoiler.
Not holding anything back. It's already Friday.
Yeah.
Like we're waited way longer than most people.
So I will say what surprised me, and then maybe you can tell me a little bit about how you felt about it. I guess I had the assumption that the villains were going to come into the movie, and then Spider-Man was going to spend the movie fighting them, essentially, right?
Mhm.
I didn't. The capturing and then try to change them so they can live, I think was a different take than
Okay.
just like capturing them and sending them back,
Okay.
right? Because he captures all of them,
Yeah.
right, like,
Instantly.
right off the bat.
Instantly,
Yeah, the movie could have been over, right?
Yeah.
Like on a how it should have ended.
Yeah.
Like there's a version where
got
someone
'em.
just
Oh, they're back.
and they push the button.
Have a good night,
yeah,
guys. See you.
and then, yeah, it goes
Yeah.
back, right, and the
Mhm.
movie's done. Of course, we don't have a movie unless something crazy happens in which Spider-Man steals the box and then takes off and
Traps the guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like that we got like a little different take on, I guess, just fighting villains and
Yeah.
trying
A
to
villain destroys the city and you save the city.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that was my, I guess, initial impression of him fighting all the villains. I don't
Okay.
know how you felt about the villain, and they're different. They're not the same.
Yeah,
Right?
everything's different. Everything's changed, which it has to be. Like there's no new or pulled from the thing, but they're all different. They were all different in a lot of
Yeah.
positive ways.
Right.
But for me, I liked the movie overall, and this to me felt like a good Spider-Man, like a real Spider-Man movie.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it has the silliness, but I felt like, oh, this is Spider-Man who has a Spider-Man problem, and you could only solve it by doing Spider-Man things.
Nice.
And I really liked that. To me, I finally felt like we got Peter Parker being like a smart guy, like using math and
Yeah.
science and
Yeah.
doing like the traditional things
Yeah.
that Peter Parker does.
Like when he's fighting Doctor Strange, and
Yeah,
he's like,
and
"Hey,
he's
this
like,
is just
This is
geometry."
this is a math problem.
Yeah. I'm
And
gonna
if I-
solve it
if-
with math.
Yeah, I'm gonna solve it with math. I'm like,
Yeah.
cool. That's what Peter Parker would do. But I mean, overall, yeah, like I had a lot of fun with it. There's some things I liked, things I didn't like, and we'll of course gonna dive deeper into it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I felt good.
You feel good about the villain setup, though.
I felt
guess?
good about the villain setup.
Or I
You
guess
know,
it's the plot setup, right?
Yeah, I think,
He-
and maybe this is a hot take. I don't know. I was like, and again, I know they did it because of previous movies, but like these are like not like the villains I would have picked.
Yeah.
from the
yeah,
Spider-Man lineup.
Right.
Again, I know why they did it because they already existed.
Yes.
But I'm like, I wouldn't have had these villains in a different situation.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I think 1,000% they only did these villains because
Yeah.
they were the
Which
previous
is
ones.
totally fine. Shocker, super cool. Doc Ock, super. Like they're all super cool.
Yeah, I thought they were
Alfred
awesome.
Molina again, phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Jamie Foxx. Everybody did.
Well, and
Did a
again,
great
like
job.
they played a much bigger role than I thought they were gonna play in the movie.
Yeah.
I really thought I really thought we were just gonna see fight scenes, but no, we have Jamie Foxx and Alfred Molina, and what's his name? Oh my gosh, Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe.
Like we have them all there.
Yeah.
Even Hayden Church, Thomas Hayden Church is,
Mhm.
but we don't see him until the end.
But even very briefly. Again, I guess there's a lot of COVID issues with having.
I'm
people
sure.
physically there.
But we have people like in rooms talking, acting, like
Yeah.
not just as the villains, right? Like we have them.
As the people contemplating decisions.
Yeah,
Trying to make
right.
is this the right thing to do? Is this the wrong thing to do?
Yep, and I didn't expect that. So
and
that
I
was nice.
I struggled a lot with Peter's decision making at first because I'm like, dude, who cares?
Yeah.
Literally, who cares?
Like send them back.
Like
Get them out of
to
here.
me, I'm like, do you not realize the problem you caused?
Right.
Like you should be on your hands and knees doing anything you can to fix it.
Right.
And I know there was something deeper, but I don't feel like Parker was at that point in his career
Where
to
he could-
know that yet.
Yeah. I could
Like
see
I don't
that.
think he should know that this is the right thing to do. I think a more veteran Spider-Man would have been like, "This is the right thing."
That's
to
a. I
do,
mean,
to
that's
try
a
to
really
help
good.
them.
That's a good point.
I think
yeah.
he's like, "Oh my god, I made a mess. I gotta clean it up."
Yeah, like
and
a teenager,
like
right?
a teenager would do.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I don't want anybody to find out. Like,
Yeah.
please fix this.
Yeah. Oh my god, and just like sends them
And
back.
again,
It's
and
just-
that's like, I can go super deep into it, but I'm like, dude, just like you're just causing problem after problem after problem after problem after problem.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but you're not seeing that you're causing a problem
And you was
because you're trying to do the right thing, which it is the right thing.
Yeah, but it is
But
deep.
like somebody, like, you know, Doctor Strange is like, dude, like this is like you don't understand.
Right.
Like you seriously, I don't even understand what I'm messing with.
Right.
Like you know nothing.
yeah.
You
Not
know
even an
nothing of what
inkling.
you're messing
Yeah.
with. And then even after he came back and explained it again, it's like, okay, look, dude, I fixed it. God, it was hard, but I fixed it here. It's in
Yeah.
this box. I fixed it.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, I mean, like, let
Yeah.
me. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And I get it. You had to have it for the movie to happen.
Right.
I
Right.
totally understand that.
But you're right.
But I'm like,
It's like
I don't think he was Spider-Man long enough to know that was the decision that had to be
Yeah.
made.
But
And it didn't make the movie bad. It just like it bothered me.
yeah,
I'm
but
like,
it's like
"Oh my
I see what you're saying because it's like a horror movie when a person decides to go down a dark alley,
Mhm.
right? And you're like, come on,
Yeah.
like, but a character has to do something dumb for there to be a movie.
Yeah, which we
You just
said
wish it
1,000
wouldn't
times.
be.
I just wish it wouldn't
like-
like you now you look stupid. Like now
Yeah,
you look
yeah,
dumb.
yeah.
Like it would have been like different if it was like an accident type of thing.
But he's made a
But I'm
choice.
like you've caused this to happen,
So
which
knowing
was like bothering
that,
me.
knowing that everything was, well, I don't want to jump too far ahead.
Yeah,
but
at the very end, I'm like, see, now you know what the right thing is.
yeah,
Now you get it.
right, because of what
you
it
made
cost
the right
him.
decision.
But now it cost him so much
Yeah.
that I feel he would think twice about
Correct.
that decision
Correct.
if he had to do it. So I really enjoyed the villains, and I think the only issue I had was I think Willem Dafoe Goblin like still being the big bad,
Mm-hmm.
like still being the mastermind behind the evil plan,
Yeah.
because he's so two-faced, he's so schizo,
Yeah.
right, that you never know when he's playing the main character and the audience is not in on when he's fooling them or not. And
His
so
voice kind of switches.
yeah, and so you're like, oh, he's pretending this whole time, and now then Goblin decides to come out and he's like, I've been just sitting back waiting for the right moment to strike. And we're like, but from a writing perspective, like there was a little bit of a cop out to be like, well, we're just gonna like write a movie, and then we get to use this tool whenever we need to get us out of the situation,
Yeah.
which is Willem Dafoe deciding to be bad again, so that we can move
But
our
how
story forward.
good was he?
Oh my God, he's so
Like,
good,
Great.
so good.
Scary good. Like,
When him and
I better be careful there, but like very, very scary.
the fight scene between him and Spider-Man, I thought
Yeah.
was so good.
I thought it was funny when he was like haymakers on him.
Yeah.
Like,
You're
he's like, I don't care.
God, he was
Like, I don't
laughing.
care.
I know, but it was like evil, right?
It was
Dang,
true.
Gave me
Which it
chills.
Felt
Gave
good,
me
like,
chills.
Oh, it
Because
felt
yeah,
good
he's
to
just
have
getting
like a
punched in
good,
the face and smiling.
Mhm.
He's just like,
and
you're
it felt
just-
good because there's not a lot of good villains,
no, but he's
and
just
he's a
awesome.
great villain.
Yeah.
And I felt that like he's evil,
Oh,
like
absolutely.
he's something to be
Absolutely.
terrified by.
Which was awesome.
I loved it.
Which
I
was
had a
awesome.
good
The
time
acting was
seeing
awesome.
him. I had a good time seeing everybody again.
That scene when he flips, and that takes us to the next level, right?
Oh, Mia Complex, yeah.
In the complex, yeah. And in Happy's apartment, I guess.
Oh, yes.
And it ends obviously with the death of Aunt
Mhm.
May. I was 1,000% in. I was like, every time something happened in the movie, and this is why I had a really, really good time, because I was bought in from the beginning, and then I was like, I don't know how, but I'm even more bought in now. I'm like, man,
I'm
now I'm
full
like
force, yeah.
full in, and then like that just kept happening. Like
Yeah.
the movie just kept pulling me in more
Kept
and
giving
more
you
and
reason
more.
to stick around.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and like, but I don't even feel like it ever, like it felt like a drop on a roller coaster that you think is gonna end, and then like the bottom comes out and you're going even
You
more.
keep going, yeah.
Right, and then again you think you're slowing down, you're about to come, and then drops out again, and you're falling even more.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like that kept happening.
Yeah.
Where you're like, okay, like they're not gonna do anything crazier than this, and then oh my God.
Yeah, it piled on pretty well.
Because I didn't, again, because we're talking about that scene, right? Like they're in Happy's apartment, and Goblin flips, and now he convinces all the other villains to once again be the bad guys. And there's an awesome fight scene, but they essentially tear down the whole apartment building.
Yeah, like floor by floor.
Yeah, and they, Aunt May ends up getting caught up in the battle between them. She delivers the line that we all know and love.
Yeah, which I was
great
like, it's got to
power.
be somewhere,
I
man.
know,
It's gotta
right?
be somewhere.
She takes the Uncle Ben role, which was a great,
like, oh,
like-
it's not the same thing.
yeah, but it
type
was
of
a
thing.
great, because we all assumed that happened, right? But it was never, because we never had an Uncle Ben
Yeah,
in this
yeah,
world, so
yeah,
we
yeah.
like assumed that all happened, but we didn't realize, no, this
and
was
I,
the moment.
I knew she was, when she got hit, I'm like,
oh yeah,
well, yeah. But it's funny
we
that
knew
they
she
like
was out.
played it off like, oh, like, because
They gave you hope for, like, a
which
second.
I never. I'm like, you saw her just get like
Yeah.
fucking demolished.
Yeah,
Like the
the
fact
glider, like,
that the fact that she like flipped. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, the
You're
fact that she even got up and like, sound good. Like,
yeah.
and
you're
again,
like,
it was
come
the
on.
I forgot what
The
they call
adrenaline,
It.
it
Yeah,
was
it was
like-
whatever play they called it, like the Walking Dead something.
That's like what happens when
Yeah,
people
they're
like,
oh, we're like
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
this whole thing
yeah.
that happened, which I didn't buy in for a second. I'm like,
and then she's
no,
like,
like
"Oh,
she's got to
Miss,
be.
Like
Like I was waiting for like blood, like
Yeah.
which I was like I was waiting for something to happen.
It's just like out of her eyes.
Yeah,
I'm
to be
good."
like-
yeah.
which again, and then it happened, and I'm like okay with it. Like I'm like he needed to have that.
Yeah, absolutely.
He
Because I
needed
think at
to
that moment
have
he's
that.
like, wow, so my teenager choice was stupid,
Mhm.
right? Like that was a bad call.
Yeah, because he like sent her out or something. He's like run or
Run,
and
yeah, yeah.
So it was, yeah.
But he's like, if I just sent these guys home, then my Aunt May would be alive.
Yeah.
But because I didn't, now she died. So
Like
her life,
there's that lesson has to be learned.
I agree.
And again,
I
it's
agree.
always with the death of
Someone
somebody.
close
That's
to
like-
you.
That's how
Yeah.
you learn.
Yeah.
And I think the toughest ones, I don't know why, but I feel like in superhero worlds, like your best friend.
Oh yeah.
Like the guy in the chair, like would have like is a
Right.
tough.
Dang.
One. Speaking of the guy in the chair,
Yeah.
just not a fan.
You're not a fan
I don't think so.
of him at all throughout the movies?
Just like through any of them,
Yeah. Just
and it's like it's fine.
he was super silly in Far From Home.
I didn't watch them all before. And again, I'm not like, oh, I wish he wasn't in here.
Yeah.
But
I
like
know, I
to
know
me,
what
I'm
you're
like,
saying.
I don't know that I buy him in these big epic battle scenes like being productive.
Yeah, I agree. But
And I'm
even
like,
with
the only reason he was productive is because he had magical powers all of a sudden.
yeah, but why did he?
And that's the thing. So he took the ring or whatever.
Yeah.
Why didn't Doctor Strange take it back?
Well, he does take it back.
Does he? Oh, because like the moment when he came back when they were on the ledge,
Yeah.
he's like, oh, I was doing the thing. And
yeah, he
I-
swipes it from
Oh,
him.
does he?
Yeah.
So then I'd be like, well, give me my shit back. Like I was expecting, and I guess I didn't notice.
It's because it like just flies off of him and onto his hand, like.
Oh,
shing.
gotcha.
Yeah, it doesn't show like a.
But again,
shot of
I'm not
him.
like he was fine. He was just
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
he
yeah.
wasn't like Harry Osborn was to.
And the
to
joke
Tobey
of I
Maguire
promise not to like
Yeah.
turn into a villain and try to kill you or something.
But like
was-
Harry Osborn
funny.
in the previous two was always like, damn, like that's his best friend.
Yeah.
That's his brother.
Yeah.
And like Ned never gave me that feeling of like, yo, that's his brother.
Like if Ned died, he wouldn't be like, oh man.
Like when Aunt May died, I was like, oh
Yeah.
man. But if Ned died, I'd be like, man, that sucks. Anyways.
Yeah. At least it wasn't Aunt May.
Yeah, like, it was a good thing it wasn't Aunt May. But no.
Yeah,
that's
I mean, I don't.
I don't
think
know that he had that impact on me.
I don't
where-
know who Ned is. Like comic book wise, like I don't know who Ned.
No idea.
I don't know like why he was able to do magic. I don't know like who he is in the Spider-Man universe. I don't know.
No idea. I
Yeah,
have zero
so
idea.
maybe there is a significance that we don't know about.
Yeah, and if there is, but I mean, to me, he
Maybe
didn't
someone-
have that.
yeah, someone can tell
that
me.
impact on me the way Mary Jane does, the way
Oh,
other
yeah.
people have
Oh,
that
yeah.
impact on you. We're like, oh, I love you.
But again, like how teenager is it to be like, I'm gonna take my two best friends on the most dangerous
Yeah, like, you guys wanna come?
trip in the whole world.
Yeah.
Yeah, stupid.
And that's the thing I constantly forget. This guy's a child.
yeah, I think it said he was
Child.
17 at one
17,
point, right?
yeah. This guy's gonna have to like I
Super
not
young. Yeah,
constantly forget that.
yeah, he's so young.
It's like I totally understand.
So speaking of Ned doing magic, perhaps we should talk about the big reveal.
The big magic.
The big
I'll
reveal.
tell you my favorite reveal. You go first.
Ned doing the
Ned
circles.
doing, like,
Yeah. Just wish I could see Peter Parker. And that moment, did you know?
when I saw the alley, I don't know why.
Well, okay, but
why when I
before
saw
that,
the alley?
but you never thought that.
Never did I think that Ned would be the person to
Okay.
bring him in. Like what?
Okay.
Why is he the one that did it?
Is that did that get you? That
Kind
bug
of.
you? I could
Why?
see that.
Why was so the grandioso surprise that the world has known about for a long time?
Yeah.
Never confirmed, never official until that moment.
You know what? I appreciate everyone lying.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I did feel good because I never really knew until it happened.
I didn't
I
investigate
was always
it. Yeah.
unsure, and I'll close this episode with a couple things.
Okay. Okay.
But I'm like, Ned's the one that brought them. Like they're just giving this guy too much to do.
I
Big
agree.
Ned rant, and I like the guy.
I know,
He's
dude.
a-
Yeah,
he's
you
a-
really
he's
don't
like.
like
He's like he's a funny guy, and he like fits in well.
Yeah.
And like I get all that, but he was the one to bring the most anticipated thing of the past 20 years or so. He was the one to make it happen.
Well,
I didn't like that.
I think I absolutely see where you're coming from, and it actually
But it was good. Like it worked out.
It did not bother me when we got the Andrew Garfield reveal.
Mhm.
When Ned says
Oh
it
yeah,
the first
it
time,
didn't bother me either.
and
But
he
I'm
comes
like,
through.
I just wish it could have happened differently.
The whole, and again, maybe it was a COVID thing. Maybe like
Exactly. I
that
don't know.
scene in the house, I felt like went on for too long. I
Yeah,
think we
with the
coulda-
I'm like they have this magical moment, something we've all been waiting for, and they're
Yeah.
cutting it with humor.
Yeah.
Why are you cutting it with humor?
Right. Right.
Why
Yeah.
can't it just be a special moment that we all remember?
And it's not even with
It's not even funny
yeah,
humor.
Yeah, it's not really
It wasn't
anything.
funny. Like
of
it
value.
was in the moment.
But it's not valuable. Like
But,
it's not like
this was a I
Huge.
don't remember a moment
Huge.
bigger.
huge.
When Cap catches Mjolnir, like maybe
Right,
that
right,
moment
right.
was, but that like sends shockwaves throughout the world.
Yeah,
In
but
this
if he
moment,
but if he grabbed the hammer and he was like, "Check out my hammer,"
yeah, you would
you'd
been
be like, "What? Why are you saying
And
that?"
and again, and that's what bothered me is like I'll always remember that moment.
Right.
I'll
Oh
remember
yeah.
the moment forever.
Absolutely.
When he did it, and you look down and you're like, there he is.
Yeah, I watch that moment
Like there he is
all the time. Yeah.
He's he's coming, and then he gets in here, and they're like, "Yo, can you get the dirt off the roof?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's like the first thing you say. And I get it. They don't know who this guy is. They don't know
yeah.
he's Peter Parker. They don't know he's Spider-Man. But like,
Right.
I wanted this like big, epic, like Mjolnir moment when it like, whoa.
Yeah, and you're
And you're,
just
like,
like,
shocked.
no way.
And everyone's like, yeah, and everybody clapped and cheered, and I loved that.
Right, right.
But like them not knowing who he is, like took away from me.
Oh, I
Like
yeah.
no, they don't. Well, who are you? And we all know who he is.
Yeah.
But like it wasn't quite right to me.
I think that if you
It
had
just
removed,
wasn't
if-
quite right.
if you took the grandma out of it, I think it would have felt better. If you cut her
Yeah.
out of that scene, I think it
The
would
poor
have.
grandma.
I know, but,
But, like,
it's not
Like,
necessary.
You're cutting a huge, if you want to call it cinematic moment. You're chopping it up with humor, and that's like, it's not okay. It's not right. Like I
And
I
so-
don't think it is.
Well, so
And I know everyone's like, oh, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen, and it was.
I mean, it was awesome for
And,
sure.
and I'll never forget
yeah,
it because
I mean,
I
it
do
was
remember that
awesome.
moment.
Yeah,
When they open the portal and like you see his head poke. I'm like,
yeah.
whoa.
He's like, what the?
Like that's gotta be him. Like that's gotta
Yeah,
be him, right?
Yeah.
It has to.
Did you know it was Andrew Garfield though?
I think so. I don't know why.
You just
Because I'm like
felt
Parker
it.
or Maguire's got to be last.
Well, okay,
Like
so
it's got to be last,
so
right?
here's what bugged me about that scene. Okay, let's just say theoretically nothing changes in that scene with the grandma and Andrew Garfield. What bothered me is the way they brought Toby in, because I'm like, hey man, he's the one. He's the first one.
Mm-hmm.
He's the first one. Like, don't bring him at the end of that
Interesting, okay.
scene.
Yeah.
Because he's the one
Who's the one?
that, yeah.
Oh, and there's another moment. God, keep going. Jesus.
But I wish they would have I wish they would have left the house and they would have found him another way somewhere else. Like they would have
like
found
they
him
would have him swinging, and you're like, "Yo, Peter, like dude, where
Yeah.
you been?" And he's like, "What do you like?"
but like it would
He would have answered to the name Peter. He would have answered to the name
Absolutely,
Spider-Man.
yeah.
He'd have been like, "What? What?
But
Who are
how?
you?"
But like I would have had him, like I would have had them, like go and looking for Tom Holland's, Peter Parker,
Yeah.
and then they see Tobey Maguire like saving somebody,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Like there's a crime, and Andrew Garfield's like, oh, I better get there to save this lady, but then
Yeah.
another Spider-Man comes in to save the day first, and then you realize like, oh, nobody has shit on Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Like that would have
angry
been
later on in the episode. That
But do
would
you
have been-
understand?
Yeah,
Like
100%.
like give him the shrine. Like
100%.
he's
Here's
the
my
one.
thing. Why is he the third Spider-Man and not the first? When they're naming him, you're 1, you're 2, you're 3. No. Tom Holland, you're not number 1
Yeah,
in this
you're
situation.
3.
You're number 3.
Yeah, you're 3.
You're third. That's my.
Toby's 1.
Drove me crazy.
Well, but they
And
call
I-
Andrew Garfield 3.
Yes, they called
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield 3.
At
He's
the end of
and,
it,
And they
yeah.
make a joke about it. He's like, yeah, I guess I'm.
Yeah.
But they were doing
I guess
it.
I'm 3.
Yeah, because
yeah.
he's like, he's like, I know, and the world knows that I'm the worst of all of us.
Right,
So I'll
right.
be 3. No, Tobey Maguire's 1, and he should have like.
Yes.
And I know it's Tom Holland's movie. I get it.
I get it too.
But guess what? Tobey Maguire's the best Spider-Man.
but
He just is.
yeah, absolutely.
Nobody is better. Tom Holland is not a better Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield is not. Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man.
And
He's the Tony Stark. He's the Robert
Yeah.
Downey Jr. to Iron Man. He's the Heath Ledger to Joker.
Right.
He's the Hugh Jackman to Wolverine. That's just
yeah,
who he is.
absolutely.
I'm sorry.
But
What
so
were
then
you
I
saying?
wish they would have treated him as
And they
such.
didn't.
And they didn't. That's why when they brought him in to
just, like,
Grandma's
walks in,
house,
yeah.
it bugged me. And not in the moment. I was just happy that they were all there.
Yeah.
But then I
was
sit
too.
with it, and I'm just like, but why did they bring him in with a shirt and the pants? And I'm like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
he is out there saving lives. Like, that's what he does.
Yeah.
He chose to stay Spider-Man. That's what Spider-Man 3 is about.
Yeah.
He has to pick a side. Either he's Peter Parker or he's Spider-Man. And he decides he's going to continue on being Spider-Man. So you show him being Spider-Man, saving lives, and doing it better than Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland does it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? You brought him in? Because it was almost like an afterthought. Like,
Oh, we gotta put it.
hello?
Yeah, he was like, "What's up, guys?"
hello?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no. But again, maybe there was a COVID situation. Maybe there were
whatever
things
happened.
that they couldn't
Maybe Tobey
control.
Maguire wasn't really on board and didn't want to be shown off and do shit.
Right.
And he was like, "Yo, bring me in, whatever."
But if they could have had, if they had full control and that's what they picked,
That's a huge.
yeah,
Like,
that's a huge miss.
race
Swing and a
almost.
miss.
Yeah.
Because that scene is like 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's
And
a little
it
too long.
It was awesome to see them. It was awesome for them to do everything they had done together and to work in a lab together and do all these things. The silhouette of them on the top, like of the two of them,
Yeah.
I was like, that's an awesome shot.
It is an awesome shot.
For them to be talking, for him to be like, yo, like, we know. And he's like, you don't know. And I'm in there like, kid,
Yeah,
we know.
We know.
Like, you don't. And it happens all the time. Parents do it all the time.
Yeah.
Like, kid, you don't know more. Like, you don't.
Yeah.
And I like Tom Holland to kind of like have to listen and be like,
Right.
oh,
You guys haven't lost
shit.
anyone, and they're like, listen.
Oh. And
Yeah.
I felt he did towards the end
Oh,
of the
yeah.
scene. He was like,
yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
so you do know what it's like.
There were
I'm like,
moments
whoa.
when a tear was about to
Oh,
fall
I
out.
full on was wiping my face.
I was
and I'll-
like, oh
and
my
we'll
god.
get-
We'll get there. But
I full on went like this, and I was like, I can't.
but
Like, I can't.
one of the times
I'm sorry, but it wasn't at me.
No, no. It wasn't for me either. It was actually but Aunt May sets it up because a time that my eyes watered up for sure was when Tom Holland says, my Aunt May told me with great power, and then they
And
finish
they're
the
like,
line.
Whoa, yeah.
Yeah,
See,
and
that
they're
was
like-
epic.
Yeah, and they're like, comes great responsibility.
And that's
and
when
Tom
you
Holland
could.
is like, what?
That was
Yeah.
big time too, and I didn't even. In the moment, I do remember it.
Yeah, you were just like, ooh, yeah.
And see now,
okay.
looking back, see,
Okay.
and that's why I'm going again on Monday. I'm missing.
Oh,
stuff.
yeah?
I'm going. I gotta take my pops.
Oh, nice.
I gotta take him.
All right.
Yeah,
It's
but
so
that,
good.
yeah, that was a big one.
That was like one. That was definitely a moment where I was like, oh my god, like my childhood and my adulthood are just like
collided.
Yeah,
it collided.
like it's just so much all in this one moment.
So we got off rails. So let's roll. With
Yeah.
it.
Well, I think we're.
And we'll pull it back.
Yeah,
but,
I think
so.
we're good.
And the moment for me, and it's the same moment everybody had, which is kind of a bummer.
Oh.
Everyone's like, oh yeah, that hit me too. Like that's when I got it. Was when when Andrew catches.
Oh my god.
MJ. Yo.
Oh my god.
So I'm trying to think of the last movie. I was like, whoa, what the fuck?
Like.
Oh my god.
Like
I don't remember the last movie I was
but
like.
it was instant. It was like I was good because
And then boom!
Yeah.
Like I was.
because the way they even set up the
could
scene,
not breathe.
they like you have no idea. Even in the trailer, you see a little bit of it, right?
Yeah.
That MJ falls off.
And he's gonna
Yeah,
grab
absolutely.
her, whatever.
Yeah, you do not believe that she's gonna die.
No, of course not.
Not at all.
Of course
But
not.
You didn't know what they were actually setting up in that scene. Nobody
So-
knows what they were setting up in that scene.
When he catches her, I like didn't know what to do.
But it wasn't even that he caught her that got
Yo,
me.
And then he gets her, and he instantly bursts out in tears.
Yes, she's like,
And
she says,
she's the one that fell 90 stories
Yeah.
from the sky. And she's like, "You good?"
"Are you okay?"
And
yeah.
he took
He's
a
like-
breath, and he's like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
I am."
He's like, "Yeah." I was like, oh no.
And because he didn't catch
He
his
did
girl.
not catch Gwen, but he catches MJ.
But like to me, and maybe you can see this differently, and this is how I saw it, and this is why it hit me so hard. I think for him it was like a sense of relief.
Yeah.
I think he's like I didn't catch her.
Right. Oh yeah.
But I guess to me I felt in that moment he's like I gotta move on, or like I don't know what he was thinking in that moment.
there was, I think, a sense of
But
closure.
because he took a breath. He's
Yeah.
like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I am.
because
And that's how I saw
yeah.
it. Maybe that's not what happened. Maybe he didn't take a breath. Maybe I took
no,
a breath.
I think.
But I think he took
does.
a breath, and he's like,
Yeah.
like he looked around. He's crying. He's like, yeah, I am okay. Like for the first time in so long, I think I am
I'm
okay.
okay.
And I was like, whoa.
Because he did not.
He didn't
go-
catch his girl.
Yeah.
His girl died in
Yeah.
the same situation.
Right. Right.
And he's like, I'm not gonna hold you. I'm gonna put you safely on the ground.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
in that moment, man, it was so.
It was.
It was
amazing.
rough.
That was
It
one of the best
rough, but it
moments.
was so. Like,
So-
it just that of all the moments in this movie,
Oh yeah.
in 10 years, 20, whatever it was, I'll remember that moment
And that was
probably the most out of everything that happened in this
Right.
movie.
more of a Captain America, like grabbing Mjolnir
That
moment.
for me,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
wasn't for a lot of people.
Right.
People are like, oh, I knew that was gonna happen, or like I knew because
Whatever.
Like whatever it is you think, that's totally fine. If that's what you thought, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I'd have to put that in the like top 5 like comic book moments that
Yeah.
like I can't even think of like a top. But yeah, Cap grabbing Mjolnir, probably the Joker and Batman sitting in the interrogation
Yeah.
room. Like those moments when you're like, oh my god.
Like, is this happening?
Because that was
Am I alive
that
to see
was his
this?
biggest that was the
Yeah.
biggest thing for him.
I
And
agree.
his slipped away, and he was like, "Yo, I got this." So, yo, it was crazy. It was crazy. It was so crazy that he caught her, and I believe I'll watch it again. I believe he took a breath.
I think he does.
I think he took a breath, and
I
he's
think
like,
he does. I think he
Yeah.
he's
he's like, I am
Yeah.
okay now.
Um,
I wasn't until this moment, but I think I am now.
because he didn't know he was gonna save anybody that day,
No, he had no idea what was gonna happen,
and he did it instinctively, and then I think
and it just so happened to be her.
yes, and when it when it happens, I think he doesn't even realize what
He saw
happens,
a
right?
blob falling and caught it.
And then he's like, and then when he lands, I think it hits him as hard as it hits us. Like he
oh
realizes
my-
what
yeah.
he just did. He saved the love of Peter Parker's life.
That's crazy. It was
Um,
wild. So that that was my moment of like I'll remember this.
Yeah.
This will, for me personally, pick your own moment. Will go down for me as like this was one of the moments I remember in a comic book movie when I can see that image in my head,
Right.
and I can see him just there like
Yeah.
holding her, and I'll remember that shot.
Yeah. It's a moment where
forever.
it's a moment that you'll put the movie on to watch.
To watch
That
5
moment.
minutes
Right.
of the scene,
Yeah.
just like I've again done with
For
Batman
all
and
the
Joker,
yeah,
for everything.
right.
Replay those moments thousands of times. I'm sure there'll be a YouTube clip of it,
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
and
I'm
I'll
sure.
watch it forever. So that was my moment that I'm like
Well,
I can't breathe right now type of moment. So that was my moment.
I think I was right there with you, but there were a
God.
couple of moments that sort of had the opposite effect for me.
Back popping,
Yeah, so it was a lot of the silly chatter on top of the Statue of Liberty, which again, maybe they were like, look, we don't have a lot that we can do, so let's just get these guys together. And I will say this, I was actually surprised that we saw them in their spider suits with their masks off in spider suits. Like I
like
didn't
when
know.
McGuire was like, dude, like,
Yeah,
but
all
he,
the time.
He was like,
I'm
fucking like
Yeah.
like
Like,
he's like, yeah, you're gonna like, what, like you're not ready.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't plan for this. And you're like, what are you?
but again,
He's
like,
like, what are you talking about?
because
I'm
he's like,
always ready to go.
I'm Spider-Man wearing a Peter Parker costume.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm always Spider-Man. Sometimes I'm Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, but you didn't treat him. I'm going back to what
You
I was saying
did it.
before. But so the chatter on top of the Statue of Liberty. How did you feel about it? And now here, I'm gonna give you a couple of talking points. Okay. And I don't think that this all happens in the top of the Statue of Liberty, but I'm gonna bring up all the times that the Spider-Mans talk to each other. The web fluid coming out of Tobey Maguire.
Okay.
Okay, how did you feel about that
I
conversation?
thought that was funny.
Okay. I thought it was funny.
I
too.
thought it was funny.
Yeah, the
'Cause
first time they were like, "What?"
They're like, you don't understand.
"Yeah,
Because to them, they don't. They
Right,
had
they
to
don't.
make their own. And as far as I remember, again, I'm not a comic book connoisseur, he always had to make it.
he makes his web shooters.
He's
yeah.
always had
Yeah.
to go in and like mess around with it and make it.
Yeah,
I don't remember a version where it came out of his body.
I don't think it does.
And
no.
which is fine. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
But I remember him like, yo, I got to like figure out how to do this. And that's why I liked Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man
Right.
when he was going, because he was like messing it up and it was like too strong, too weak.
right.
He like had to make it.
Well, and the fact is that sometimes that they fail, right? And so then
like
you're
when
left
Electro
without him.
Friday, he's like, well, guess what?
Now I don't have him. Yeah, so now I have to figure
something
out,
else.
which
Exactly.
I like. Tobey Maguire does, and he says like, "Do you ever?" And because I think Andrew Garfield asks him like, "Do you ever have web blockage?"
Oh yeah, he's like, does it ever come from other places than your wrist? I thought it was funny because to them it was
It was a weird thing.
it was a weird thing to them and it was new to both of them. So yes, I did like that banter. I thought it was funny.
But the back popping.
No, I'm like, you could have done something else.
Okay.
Like you could have had that same moment,
Mm-hmm.
but like I wanted them to like that would have been a cool bonding moment
Yeah.
for them to talk about something like that. Like, oh well, I do something in my universe. Like, oh, you do that?
Like you wanted
Like,
to bring
I
up
have-
another
like a Spider-Man,
example,
like a Spider. The web thing is a Spider-Man related thing.
like your suit.
Like,
hey,
oh,
how
what
come your
happened to
suit-
you?
Yeah.
Well, mine was a spider at a
yeah,
on a
yeah,
field
yeah,
trip or something, and
Gotcha.
Maguire's like, oh, well, mine was in a lab, which
Yeah.
I guess there was both in a lab.
But
like,
still, I know
just
what you're saying.
could've
I know what you're saying.
talked about their experiences that happened.
You would have rather another Spider-Man
And
reference.
Maguire could have been like, yo, I woke up like fucking jacked the
Yeah.
next day. And he's like, well, I didn't. I stayed the same. Or like something like that would have
I
been
used to
really-
wear glasses and now I
Yeah,
don't.
and he's like, well,
what?
like, nothing happened to me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm stronger, but I still stayed skinny. Like, he could have had, like, that would have been
Right.
funnier than them
Right.
cracking the back.
I agree.
So I would
agree.
have appreciated that more.
So then, how did you feel about Tobey Maguire telling Andrew Garfield, "You're amazing"? Say it. I want you to say
I
it.
really wanted him to say it.
Yeah, you're amazing.
It's like, you're the amazing Spider-Man.
'Cause, yeah.
Somebody should have just said it. Nobody said it. He kept saying you're amazing, but he
You're
could have been like,
amazing.
you're the amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, say. But he
So I'm
d-
bummed
does. He
nobody
does
said
tell
it.
him though. He goes, "I want you to say it."
And I want him to be like, okay, I'm the amazing Spider-Man. Like, I just wanted somebody, but I don't think he did, right?
I don't think so.
So it
Well, I
would've-
think he says, "I'm amazing."
He says,
but he
I'm
doesn't-
amazing.
he
But
doesn't
should have
say-
said, I'm the amazing Spider-Man.
All right, I'm the amazing
He
Spider-Man.
should have said it, but he didn't.
And then Tobey Maguire could have been like, "Well, no, that's not what I meant."
yeah.
You're like some kind of quip.
So I didn't. That one I don't like. But if he said it,
Then you would
I
have
would have been like, cool,
you'd have been
because
all
he
for
was
it.
the amazing Spider-Man. So he should have just said it.
What about when Tom Holland says,
The
asks,
teamwork.
No, when he asks them, what have you guys fought crazy villains?
Oh, and he's like, I fought
I
a
fought an
a
alien.
black blob or a black blob or something.
Yeah, he goes, I fought an alien in the form
I
of a black
really, I thought, and I know they were trying to. This is like their farewell or whatever. Like they're
Yeah.
never coming back. But I really was hoping, like in that moment, that Maguire was gonna say a character that we never seen.
Oh,
I really wanted to be like, oh well, I fought a guy that tried to hunt me, or like I fought a hunter,
Gotcha.
or like I fought a guy that could like blend, like I fought a chameleon, or like a guy that we never saw him fight.
I do think there was a missed opportunity because he could have said like, I fought a vampire us one time.
Yeah.
And Tom Holland would have been like, that's crazy. not
He's like-
knowing he's probably gonna fight
yeah.
a vampire coming
and
up.
I think
right?
they had a lot of missed moments. And again,
Yeah.
it was a simple moment.
right.
But
Right.
I would have
But
liked
you
if he
could've-
gave a nod
Even if he called,
to just as a villain we had never met before.
but even for Tom Holland, like he could have still said, like, I fought a guy that he called himself Venom. Like, I don't know why or whatever. And Tom Holland could have
Yeah.
still been like, Venom. That's weird. That's a weird name.
He's like, sounds like a bitch.
Yes.
like-
Yeah. Right.
He's like, yeah, I don't think I'll have a problem with that, or
Yeah.
something,
Something.
anything like that.
Yeah.
So it would have been cool for Maguire to like mention a big villain that we never got to see,
I agree. I think he should
because
have.
he did been Spider-Man for so long.
Yeah. He could have named all kinds of.
See, I'm
Spider-Man.
trying to. I don't know why.
But
I can't think of like.
I mean, it
Or
could
like
have been.
if he
It could
mentioned
have
it,
been Kingpin. It could
Yeah,
have been
but,
like
like,
all.
yeah.
Yeah. It could have been all kinds of.
or if he made
things.
like an X-Men reference, would have been cool.
something.
He's like, I don't know, but I partnered up with a guy with a metal claws that came out of his hands. Like that was
Yeah.
weird. Like if he said something like that, that would have been another like big moment.
Right.
But again, I know they're like trying to close the universe.
Right. But I think they also established.
Dude, why
like,
can't
their
I can't
solo-
think of any like
villains?
villains right now?
I mean, we've got a lot of them, like Morbius and Venom and Vulture. I mean, we got a
But
lot.
like Chameleon would have been like a cool one if he mentioned. Craven the Hunter would have been a cool
Kraven
one
the
if
Hunter
he
would have been
mentioned.
cool.
But that would have been like, whoa,
Yeah,
like,
like, hey,
what?
that's
He knows
cool.
who that is, like, kind of moment.
And,
but I didn't.
But
I was cool with that. Like, I fought a blob.
what about Tom Holland when he says, "I don't want to brag, but I fought with the Avengers," and
I liked that. I thought
and
that was
then
funny.
yeah, Tobey Maguire's like, "What? That's so cool. Who are they?"
Yeah, like what? Like that
Who's
means
that?
nothing to
Yeah.
me. Again,
Who's
because it
that?
means nothing to him.
Yeah.
The Avengers mean nothing, but Spider-Man is such a huge part of it in the comics. How he integrates with the Avengers, I'm like that was a cool thing.
Right.
So I did like that. Again,
But-
I think they went like one too far. He's like, "Is that a band?" Like you already had your joke.
yeah. They do that. They did that a
Already
few times.
had your funny
did
thing
that a
you
few
just said.
Because I think they bring the web shooter like thing back too, and I'm like, it was funny that time,
You
but like,
already did it.
you don't gotta bring it. Like, it was
So when Tobey Maguire's like, "Who are they? I have no idea." Cool. You already
funny.
You already got your funny, and let's keep going.
Andrew Garfield.
It was like,
Is that a band?
yeah.
Ruined
again,
it.
it's not
Ruined
a-
it.
None of this is a knock on these actors or their characters.
No,
It's a knock
no.
on the writing and how they went about presenting them
Right.
to us.
But again, if you haven't caught on to my theme here, there were a lot of these moments where where the Spider-Men are trying to like be funny, right? A lot of these like moments where they're using like this trio as like a comedic relief.
Let me break it down real fast.
Whoa.
Real fast.
Whoa.
So Tobey Maguire was the scientist, smart Peter Parker, went to school, really smart, nerdy guy.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield, which I don't know why people are so mean to his Spider. I liked his Spider-Man.
I like
That's
his
just me.
Spider-Man.
He
a
was
lot.
the quippy, funny, jokey,
Yeah.
mess with the thugs kind of Spider-Man,
Right.
which I also loved.
Yeah.
Tom Holland was the young kid who was inexperienced, who was learning how to do this, who
Yeah.
didn't know what to expect, who was trying to save the city,
Right.
who was just trying to do right by these powers.
Right.
So all these Spider-Man had different things that I loved. And all three Spider-Man are combined make one Spider-Man. Spider-Man is a smart science nerd who makes quippy jokes
Right.
and is really funny with the villains, who's a young dumb kid.
Yeah.
They just did it all at different times
Sure.
of life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Tobey Maguire didn't have the quips.
No, not at all.
Tom Holland didn't really have the quips
Yeah, I
or
mean,
the
they usually-
scientific like I thought he was like a smart guy. They never really showed that off. Andrew
Right.
Garfield didn't quite have like the power
Right.
that Spider-Man has. He was more quippy and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like the
Again, I
three
think
breakdowns that
yeah.
they all had. I liked The Amazing Spider-Man 1. I liked The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I mean, I like Andrew Garfield as
I like
Spider-Man.
Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. Are the movies great? No, they're
No.
not. I do like Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, me
Again,
too.
that was like a cool thing.
Yeah.
No,
I
these
agree.
movies aren't fantastic movies, but I don't know why people are like Andrew Garfield's the worst Spider-Man.
No.
Like he's not
no,
the worst
no.
He's not the worst Spider-Man.
Because he was in the worst movies.
Because he was in the worst movies.
He was in the worst
Andrew
of the
Garfield
Spider-Man
is a
movies.
great Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I loved the moment when he was like just had made his new suit, and the guy pulls out a knife. It's like, you found my weakness. It's small knives. Like that's something.
Yeah, and he like gets
He's
down.
like, it's small knives, and he's like, bit like
Yeah.
Like that's something Spider-Man would
Right,
do, and
right.
Andrew Garfield was so
He was so good at that. Yeah.
He was so good at that. He made
Right.
the jokes. He he was still kind of nerdy and like
right.
stuff like
He was
that.
lanky
So
and
I
yeah.
loved Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man.
Me too.
Even if you didn't,
Me
that's
too.
totally okay for whoever didn't like him.
Yeah.
He was, to me, will always be Spider-Man. Tobey Maguire will always be Spider-Man, and so will Tom Holland.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
just
they
how
all
it
have
is.
their place. They all have their
They all did a great job.
right. I agree. I don't think that you can say that the one's necessarily better than the other, but I do think that you can recognize that there is an OG who paves the way for the other ones.
And he paved the way for superhero movies in general.
Right, right.
Not
and
just
so
these Spider-Men.
I do want to get to sort of what I sent you earlier. And I guess I'll wrap up the movie by saying this. So obviously the movie ends and Peter Parker does exactly what we think he's going to do, which is he saves everybody, sends them all back to where they came from, and we are led to believe that because they are now changed, they will live in the universe that they were originally going to die in. But the consequence is that Peter Parker
but
is
that
forgotten.
wasn't always the plan, right? So the plan was to forget that he was Spider-Man, but not to forget him as a person.
Correct. The plan was
So
for
now
everybody to remember him as Peter Parker, but
not
forget that he was Spider-Man.
And now they don't know him at all.
Well, now the world knows Spider-Man, but has no idea who Peter Parker is. So it was the reverse.
See, I'm like, but again, in the grand scheme of the pages or whatever the movie, whatever you want to call it, like it had to happen.
Well, what I really, really liked about the end of this trilogy is I think it was always a little unfair. I think we all sort of felt that it was a little unfair at how Tom Holland's Spider-Man was brought into the MCU to begin with, which was Tony Stark brought him in and gave him this awesome suit.
Yeah, I never liked that.
You know, he really had this leg up on all the other Spider-Men, right? Because he was handed $1 billion suit and had all these advantages. But at the end of this trilogy, he is stripped of all of that. And he has to now make his suit with the sewing machine.
Correct.
And now he's like Spider-Man, bare bones.
Reborn.
Yeah, and I like that.
Call that the next one. Spider-Man Reborn. Like, that would be a cool title.
I think that it was a smart choice to say, look, let's now give you Spider-Man movies going forward where
about Spider-Man.
Because he's no longer in
no longer an Avenger.
And again, I don't know that if that was Sony's and Marvel's like handshake agreement, but it was a great way to say like thanks for doing business. Like
you don't have your Stark tech.
We'll take it from here.
You don't have your Avengers tower. Like you don't have any of that anymore.
Right. You are just Spider-Man now. And so Sony gets to bring him back. Now he can deal with the Sinister Six, and he can go from there.
I liked that too. And
I really liked that.
It was painful in the moment. He's like, I know
Right.
who you are. You don't know who I am. It's like, because like amnesia is like a scary thing, and it's like a very real thing.
Oh, yeah.
So for him to go through it is like crazy. But like once I saw the apartment, I'm like, this is what I want.
Oh yeah,
When he opened the door, he's like, rent's due at the beginning of the month. Like, don't be late. I'm like,
yes.
This is
we need a
Spider-Man.
struggling Peter Parker. Who's
that's what makes him who he is.
The only thing I wish that would have happened was we saw like that we saw a job application to the Daily Bugle. Like I wish we would have gotten
that would have been a nice nod.
Yeah, just something, right? Just like something, and maybe there's something.
Like he could have looked at it and been like, no.
Or something, something, yeah.
He would be like, I would never, and like throw it.
Yeah.
But like this guy never took a picture in 3 movies.
Yeah.
Again,
he is not a photographer.
Yeah, he was in high school. He was a young kid.
Yeah.
But like
he had nothing to do with journalism.
Nothing to do with journalism or photography.
Right. But like it would have been funny to like
Peter,
walk by the Daily Bugle and see like now hiring sign or something, and him be like, nah.
Yeah, like why would I? He's like, I don't know anything about cameras.
Yeah.
Like, walk away.
If only I was a journalist.
Yeah, like that'd be a great job.
Yeah.
So
I like
I
the way.
agree.
I like that it was. Let's get back to basics,
Yeah.
and let's make some Spider-Man movies now.
So then, I'm good. I mean, I'm good with how it ended. I'm good with everybody forgetting. Zendaya's a
Yeah.
smoke for like. I can't believe I said
She's
that earlier.
gorgeous.
It's like
She's
whoa,
gorgeous.
like
She was beautiful. So was Tom Holland.
yo, and it's so funny because I just watched Malcolm and Marie,
Oh yeah.
and then I watched this movie, and I'm like, yo, Malcolm and Marie, like, just like whoa, she's smoked the whole movie.
Yeah,
It's
she's
incredible.
like very adult compared
And
to.
then now they make her look like a which
Yeah.
is her role. I get that.
Yeah.
She's 17 years old in this movie. Like,
Right.
I get that.
Right.
But like in Malcolm and Marie, she's like drinking, smoking, like crazy shit in that movie.
Yeah.
Dressed to the tens, like crazy, beautiful the whole time. And then you like watch this, and you're like, is that the same girl from the movie? I just
Yeah.
whoa,
I think she's
But
awesome. I
still
love
looks
her. I love
beautiful. Like did amazing in Dune for the limited time she was in
her.
there.
Yeah. So
Really
good.
want to watch her HBO show. I hear it's like crazy.
Oh,
though.
Euphoria.
Yeah, I hear
Yeah,
there's.
I haven't seen
like,
it,
I
but
hear
I hear
there's
it's
like
nuts.
it's tough to watch.
Yeah, me too.
I don't like watching sad things.
No, I hear that it's a
I hear it's
struggle.
it's not for everybody, but she's phenomenal. So like I don't know. I'm guessing
Right.
she's done.
Maybe.
I'm okay if she's done.
Yeah, and then we get Gwen in
And
his,
then we get Gwen,
or
and then we
something,
get
right?
Spider. Like then we can do all these other things. I think keep
Yeah.
Tom Holland.
Yeah, if he wants to do it, let him do it.
Yeah, and if he has a contract, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Everybody else,
Apparently he signed some stuff. So
Listen.
let's see.
you got 3 movies. You did good.
Yeah.
You made your jokes. You traveled to Europe.
Right.
Flash Thompson, worst like Flash Thompson of all time.
I
Like,
know.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Again, not the actor, just a
The
awful
the character
way
choice.
to represent Flash Thompson. The school bully, like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
The school nerd,
The school nerd.
like, seriously,
He would have gotten trampled.
destroyed.
Yeah.
Joe Manganiello was Flash Thompson though.
I know. My
Oh.
favorite.
Like
Yeah.
that was crazy. Anyways, yeah. So the
Well-
homecoming, the home verse.
Yeah.
people,
Yeah. Good job.
You guys did great. It was an awesome trilogy.
Yeah.
Can't wait to buy the box set of all 3.
But it is time for
it's
Spider-Man to
time
meet.
It's time for
His
Spider-Man
other-
to be an adult.
Yeah.
It's not time for him to hang around with his high school people.
So I want to end my thoughts on this movie with what I sent you. I want to end with the thing that I loved and the thing that I hate about this movie.
I hated it big time.
What I'm about to say.
No, I feel the same way.
So
'Cause
okay,
this
so
is what I don't understand.
so-
I don't understand.
oh man, okay. Let me. Okay, I'll say
I'll
what
let
I'll
you-
say.
I'll
Yeah,
let
I'll
you
say
go
what I'm
first
gonna say.
and I'll tell
Oh
you
my
what
gosh.
I don't understand.
So I wrote a little something and I sent it to you, and I think I am gonna post it. But obviously I can't until it's been a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Because it has spoilers in it. So I wrote you something and I called it Spider-Man No Way Home, the best movie that I can't recommend.
Correct.
And it's because this movie, as a standalone movie, cannot stand on 2 legs. It can't stand
No.
on its own at all. And
No.
it would crumble if it tried. And the whole time I was watching this movie, I could not stop thinking that anybody who did not go through the journey of the past 20 years with these Spider-Men is not appreciating these moments like I am.
And that's what I don't understand.
Like, why do they do that?
Why everybody is like, why this movie is such a big deal?
No.
Well, God, see, I'm saying it wrong. Exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
If you didn't, you can't
There's
be
just-
hyped.
There's
you can't
no
be hyped
way.
for this
There
movie.
is no way.
You can't be. You can't have that feeling.
Because even if I came to you and I said, look, we're going to watch this movie, Spider-Man No Way Home. I know you've never seen a Spider-Man movie before. If you could go back and watch all the Spider-Man movies, which I think up to that point would have been 7.
7.
Just go back and watch them, and then we'll go watch this movie on Saturday.
Mhm.
I think all I'm doing is helping you understand what's happening on the screen.
Yes.
But I don't think that you in any way are appreciating what is happening.
No.
I don't think you are actually getting the full benefit of what is happening on screen.
There's no way.
There is absolutely no way, because when I saw Spider-Man, I was 13 years old. And that's
It
a
was
totally different
huge.
feeling than you being an adult right now watching a Spider-Man movie for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So unless all the people in that theater were 13 or
Whatever,
10,
whatever they were.
whatever, when they first saw Spider-Man on screen, and they've been sticking by Spider-Man for 20 years, and then so everybody in that movie was on the same journey that I was for 20 years,
Mm-hmm. Which I'm sure a lot of them were.
I
Which
think
is
a lot
why
were.
they were in there.
right? Except for the
The
gang family next to me.
yeah, the
But-
date night family.
But I can't imagine that
I can't either.
everybody has been on that same journey.
No.
And I kept wondering that throughout the whole movie. Like, is someone who has no idea what's going on enjoying this movie?
Well, that goes back to like my moment. If you don't know what that moment means, why would it make? Why would it bother you?
Yeah. Why would you?
Why would you be like? You'd be like, oh, cool, he got her.
Yeah, but wouldn't you in that moment be like, why is he crying?
Yeah, you'd be like, what is he?
Why? Like, what's the like?
Yeah.
Oh, he caught her. Like,
Mhm. Cool. Good.
okay, he's happy he caught her.
Yeah.
Right.
Why-
Like,
yeah.
a lot of those jokes that we're talking about, the Spider-Man are making with each other, comes from that history.
Mm-hmm.
And I like this movie. I actually don't think is a good movie, which is a weird thing to say
Mm-hmm.
because I had
It's-
the
it's-
best time watching it.
Yeah, it was fun.
But I don't think that I could say, "Hey, go check out Spider-Man: No Way Home," to just
A stranger.
a moviegoer who like goes sometimes for leisure. Like, I don't think that it's just for the average moviegoer.
No, it's for a Spider-Man fan.
Yeah. But who has been in it for a long time. And if you have not been in it for a long time, I think you're going to understand what is happening on screen.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think you're going to appreciate it.
I don't think you'll have the moments of
No. I mean,
even.
but we're like sitting there crying because of what's happening on screen, right?
That moment I drove. A lot of happened in the movie. I'm telling
Yeah,
you. And
yeah.
I'm going back real. I'm interrupting you. Driving home, that's the only thing I could think about.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I could think about.
but that means nothing. That means
to
nothing
a stranger.
to a stranger. Yeah, to someone who, even if you started with the Tom Holland universe,
That moment
like,
still
you-
means nothing.
even if you started with the MCU, you're like, I was there from
Even
the
if you
first
watched
Iron
the
Man.
4 movies before.
That moment means nothing.
And it was like, yo, a moment changed my life.
Yeah.
A lot
It was
for me. I can't
monumental for me.
Cannot stress that enough.
So
And the other moment that means nothing to people, again, if you haven't watched everything,
Yeah.
was Tom Holland's or Peter Parker's lawyer.
oh yeah.
If you're not caught up, it means nothing to you.
And that's like
it could be like, yo, how did that guy do that? Like
absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
Why would he hire a blind lawyer? Like it could be all these things that nobody knows or cares about.
Right.
But to me, I was like, yo, this is
It's a
monumental.
big deal. It's a big deal.
This is huge.
yeah.
This guy's in this scene 30 seconds. I know what this means
But
for the next 6 years.
If he had just come on screen and said something and left, then I would say, okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But he does a daredevil move,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
he does something.
Great line.
I know.
Too.
I'm a good lawyer.
Great line.
And you don't understand what the hell that means.
No.
Unless you know who Daredevil is and you saw the damn show. And so, again, like, unless you have been on this
You
journey,
can't appreciate that whole scene.
you have no idea. You have no idea. But that makes it a not good movie.
Yeah.
And that is why, like, I wouldn't, like, if someone came up to me and said, oh, how did you like the new Spider-Man movie? Because that's what they would call it.
Mhm.
How did you like the new Spider-Man movie?
Everybody called that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's what they would say.
And that's fine.
The
that's
average
fine.
moviegoer would call it the new Spider-Man movie.
Correct.
Fine.
And that's totally okay.
It's like the new iPhone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'd be like, it was the most amazing thing that I have seen in a long time. That's what I would tell them.
Yeah. Because
They'd
it
be like,
was.
oh man, so I should go watch it? Nope. You should not. You have no business in that theater.
Yeah.
You would not
No, I
understand.
I agree 1,000%. I do.
Yeah.
Because those moments of them working and the
Yeah.
whole, like, the best friend thing,
Yep.
talking about that, everything with all the villains,
Right.
you don't know about the chip getting fried. You don't know about
Yeah. The serum
the
and
goblin,
and
the
goblin, yeah.
the whole, like, you don't know anything like that.
Yeah. You have no clue.
And if you can enjoy it without knowing or caring, cool, good for you. But imagine how much fun you would have and how much you would care and love this movie if you did know what was going on.
Okay, but so here's actually my biggest gripe, and then I'll be done. Is why I think it is actually a tough spot to be in. I think it's a tough spot that Sony and Marvel put people in. Is you can't go back and be 13 years old, right? You can't go back and be 10 and seeing Spider-Man for the first time.
Never.
You can't. So if I'm like, hey, it would be really awesome if you saw these movies 20 years ago, though. You can't be like, okay, cool, let me go back 20 years.
You
and
can't
check it out.
Yeah.
So that's it. It's gone.
I remember him.
That opportunity is gone. You cannot ever understand the feeling that we had in the theater
so
watching this
good.
movie. You
Yeah.
will never understand it because you missed it. Because that feeling started 20 years ago.
The one that led to last night.
Was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's it. You missed it.
No matter how many times
It
you
doesn't
watch.
matter. It doesn't matter. That the train left the station 20 years ago.
Years ago. And if you were on it,
Awesome.
I'm glad last night
Yeah.
made you feel the way it made us feel.
Yeah. But the studios essentially said, for those of you that got on the train, this is for you. For those of you that didn't, sorry. Yeah. Too bad.
That's wild.
And so that's why I'm like,
But
it's amazing, but I would never tell anybody to go see it unless I knew they had gotten on that train.
which why I kind of wondered why about the hype was so much, because I'm like, not everybody is like, oh, how's everyone like a Spider-Man fan all of a sudden?
I mean, I do think a lot of it was clickbait. I do think a lot of it
Yeah,
was just
I
traffic
think word
driving,
of mouth and all this stuff.
I think people did want to know. They just like, did it happen?
Yeah, and Spider-Man became, for me, it was this fishing hole that nobody really went to. A couple other people.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
it's
everybody found
crowded.
out. You're like, well, I don't want to fish here anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's not unique or fun
Right.
anymore. So you tell someone like, "Oh, who's your favorite superhero?" Spider-Man. You're like, "All right, cool."
Yeah.
Like,
No,
that's
you're like,
fine.
all right, whatever.
People are like Spider-Man, really? You don't like Batman or Superman or like any of these? You're like, oh, like it's not
all
like,
right.
really. But Spider-Man's been around. I know Spider-Man's number one by far
Yeah.
in people's books
Oh yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But it's true. Everything you said by far it's the truth.
But that's how I feel. Loved it though. Great movie.
It was great.
Great
so
movie.
after watching this movie, I told you when I texted you, this movie made me hate Eternals so much.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
After I walked out of this movie, I was like, "Yo, Eternals sucks ass."
You're like, oh, this is a fun movie.
Yeah, this is
that
this
movie
is
was
a Marvel
garbage.
movie I want to watch.
Yeah.
I'm not going back into Eternals. After watching this, you're crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
Like you're crazy.
Like, okay, we tried it. That was
yeah,
nice.
it doesn't work.
All
like
right,
whatever.
like, let's not do that
you
again.
know what?
Yeah.
Eternals are lame. They suck. They're boring.
Yeah, let's just not do that.
Let's leave it where it is. That's literally what I thought of
thought-
also driving home. I was like, yo, Eternals sucks. Like, it's so boring. Like,
Yeah,
it's just
I agree.
boring after
Yeah.
watching this
They tr-
fantastic movie.
They tried something different. It didn't work out.
And, it didn't, and that's
That's
fine.
That's fine.
That's totally
Now they
fine.
know. Now they know.
100%.
But
But
all right.
this movie was great. It was fun. I'm
Movie
going
was
again
awesome.
on Monday. I'm going one more
This
time.
movie's like a 9.5 for me, but I think it would be like a 6 to somebody.
Yeah,
normal.
see, I went back. I started at a 9. I went to an 8.5. Went to 8.5. Went back to
I
a
had
9.
so much
to
fun, though, man.
9.2. Like, I've been all over. I'm not gonna give it because
Yeah.
I'm still.
It doesn't
flip-flop,
matter,
but
yeah. It doesn't
it,
matter.
and it doesn't matter at the same time.
Because it's not for everybody. Like
No, but it was for me.
yeah,
it was for
it
me.
was awesome. I loved it.
So next up we got Christmas,
Yeah, we'll do
about-
Hawkeye and Matrix,
and then one more after that.
and then we'll do our top 10 episode, our top 10 most anticipated, and our top 10 best films.
Let's make it happen.
Woo! Can't wait. We got
Alright.
2 more.
Two
more.
This is the first time I'm gonna say this, but I feel like maybe we're at the point. Like and subscribe.
That's right. If you guys enjoy it,
Like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram and
Oh, I know.
TikTok.
I know it bothers you, but it's great.
follow us on
Follow us on TikTok. Diego and Sam know nothing.
Later.
Later.